Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be discussing the Sacai Clot LDWaffle collab. Specifically, we will be discussing some release info, how to cop, and of course, some resale predictions as always. Sacai Clot LDWaffle will be releasing on September 10th at some Europe retailers and September 14th for the majority of other retailers, including Sneakers US. Retail will be $170. Total stock is just about 45,000 pairs, which is certainly not too bad. It's around what we normally see for most Sacai, and definitely more than most hype dunks. Regarding resale, we will cover more of that towards the end of the video as always, and it's looking incredible as you might imagine. With the release info out of the way though, let's jump into how to cop the Sacai Clot LDWaffles. First, regarding any raffles, there are many retailers, primarily for Europe, that are doing them. You should enter right now is the Juice Store raffle. This will be your best chance at any raffle, considering they have the vast majority stock, and I actually do see relatively high manual success off here as well. This raffle will be open until later tonight. I believe with the conversion, it's around 12 a.m. Eastern time when it does closes. So if you did happen to miss it, make sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way, you're fully updated for the future. Anyway, you can enter this raffle right now by downloading the Juice Store app on your iPhone or Android and enter from there. Good luck. In addition to the Juice Store, I'd say it's also worth entering the SNS app raffle, since success is somewhat decent there as well. When Undefeated posts their raffle, likely closer to the 14th, that will definitely be worth entering as well, so keep an eye out for that. There are many other raffles as well. These are just the most notable ones that I did want to put out there and emphasize to you guys because they are definitely worth your time. Anyway, with raffles out of the way, let's move on to the potential first come first serve drops and confirmed first come first serve. Starting with 6 a.m. Eastern time, potentially we have a drop that will ship worldwide. This will be Dover Street Market eFlash. As for Europe sites with only Europe shipping, we will be discussing those later. So Dover Street Market London usually tends to drop at around 6 a.m. Eastern time or 12 p.m. CEST, you could say. Although that's the normal drop time, they have actually been dropping within 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern time or 3 to 4 p.m. CEST recently. So if you don't see a drop at 6, it is worth looking out for those as well. This drop is certainly very likely, even though they did do a raffle, since they almost always drop any Sacai online. But I'd still only worry about this drop if you do have access to a Shopify bot, as manual is really near impossible when it comes to this site. If you are botting, expect a potential checkpoint, although as of recently, they have not been using it consistently. As for Dover Street Market eFlash New York, on the other hand, it is normally at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and it's the same setup, only difference is the domain, the time obviously, and the fact that they only ship within the United States, unlike the other domain. Now, moving on from there, normally I would say at 8 a.m. Eastern time, we should be seeing Undefeated drop. However, these very hype drops on Undefeated tend to usually be in the afternoon. The most common time for things like these collabs are usually around 12 p.m., 12:15, 12:30, or 1 p.m. Eastern time, so be on the lookout for those times for a potential shock drop for these. For example, the recent Sacai Fragment was at 12 p.m. Eastern time rather than the usual 8 a.m. Eastern time for general release drops. So be on alert, especially around 12 p.m. Eastern time. Before this time, make sure you are signed into your Undefeated account, as it is required for checkout here. Be ready to solve a checkpoint captcha as well. If you don't have access to a Shopify monitor, you can try refreshing the search page for Clot, but your chances of copying are going to be very slim since it is Shopify, but regardless, it's still going to be a much better chance compared to the typical 8 a.m. Eastern time drop, since not everyone is going to be prepared to be running this drop, so it definitely will not hurt to try it all. Then at 10 a.m. Eastern time, we may potentially see Kith drop these. In fact, I'd say it's very, very likely that we will, as usual, because they always tend to for Sacai's. Regardless, all you need to know here is that if they do end up dropping, they will likely enable a checkpoint, specifically an H captcha, and there should be a question that should be relatively easy to answer when carding as well, that of which you could quickly Google. If you have access to a group, be sure to take advantage of the early link as well, as that will certainly give you an advantage. Also at 10 a.m. Eastern time, but less urgent, and this one is definitely going to be on the 14th, Nike sneakers will be dropping for US. Now, what's the most efficient way to cop off of Nike sneakers manually? I made a full in-depth video regarding this and everything inside out that you guys need to know. Feel free to check it out here. However, for now, I'll just give you guys a brief rundown rundown of what's most important for this drop. This drop will be a Dan drop, also known as a draw release. Dan drops or draws essentially give you 10 minutes to enter in as many accounts as possible into this raffle. Evidently, the more accounts you could enter within that finite period, the better your chances will be. If you do need to make more accounts, remember that Nike does require SMS verification, and you can't use the same phone number twice, so you will have to ask a friend of yours to use their phone number and ask them for the verification code. However, if you rather not bother your friends, or you just want a significant amount of pre-verified Nike sneakers accounts in general, feel free to check out my site TARS. The link for that is in the description below. But that's about it for the US drops. Like I said, there really isn't going to be many, since the vast majority of retailers, when it comes to drops like this, unfortunately do raffles and backdoor their pairs. Anyway, now moving on to the Europe retailers. The first one I did want to mention is definitely Soulbox. Soulbox almost always drops these very hype products first come first serve, especially when it comes to Sacai releases. They almost never fail to drop, such as the recent Fragment Sacai collab. Make sure you do make accounts in advance for Soulbox and add your address beforehand. I'd highly suggest being active on the site at least 30 minutes beforehand, so you could reduce the chance of being stuck in that Perimeter X captcha loop. It usually stays in stock for a decent bit. The main problem is just checking out, as it is flooded with errors in addition to that captcha loop. So give it your best shot, but don't be discouraged if you don't cop, because it certainly won't be easy. More importantly for Europe though, your best shot is definitely going to be on Nike sneakers at 9 a.m. CEST. However, this will be less urgent since I'm expecting them to eventually load them as a Dan release, also known as a draw. This is what we were discussing earlier, but as of now, they actually have not loaded these. I do expect them to load very soon, most likely for the 10th, and if not, then the 14th. This should provide you with 10 minutes to enter in as many accounts as possible into the draw, allowing you sufficient time to also try the other potential first come first serve drops at 9 a.m. CEST, if they even do drop, of course. Regardless, sneakers is definitely going to be your best chance. Offspring may also potentially shock drops from raffle leftovers, but it is very unlikely considering prior drops. I'd still suggest enabling Instagram notifications for them just in case they do. This way you can quickly get the notification for it. That's essentially it for the how to cop portion of this video though. Now let us move on to the resale predictions. Although many recent Clot collabs have not been performing well, unfortunately, this three-way collab between Sacai, Clot, and Nike on the other hand should definitely be much better, as is the Sacai LDWaffle in any colorway is already normally profitable with a great margin. However, with this Clot collab, similar to the Fragment collab, there should be even more demand on top of that. Not to mention, similar to most Sacai LDWaffles, the stock is also quite low, so this is definitely a no-brainer to me. It should be to you guys as well. Overall, I'm expecting all sides to be very profitable with a great margin, and even with the high shipping rates if you happen to cop from Juice Store. So full throttle on these. Anyway, that will conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe and enable post notifications just to stay 100% updated on all the hyped releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies and pre-verified Nike sneakers or Adidas accounts. Also, feel free to follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Personals for you, so you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was discussing today. With that though, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck.